All right, so something actually interesting happened today. If you don't know about me, I resell. I resell Funko Pops, a lot of actual other items, whichever. I know there's a stigma about resellers out there. I think it's something that is available to others, and if they're able to do it, they put the time and hard work into it. That simply put. But usually when I list on Facebook Market, I have these prices and all along the lines. I do this based on how old the Funko Pop is, how much is selling on the second-hand market, etc. like there, right? Each seller will have a different way of how they calculate price and everything. Some people might say that some individuals are making prices higher or higher, like those, right? So I engaged with this individual who reached out to me. They asked if this item was available. I said, which ones, and I already knew there was some there. He goes, can you mark which ones are still available? I said, just let me know which ones you're looking for. He indicated these two Funko Pops, which I said, okay, here's my prices. He goes, and here's, if you buy both of them, I can give you this kind of discount. He comes back and says, hey, can we actually do this price? I said, I'll knock another $5 off. But in my statement, I said, hey, I have a couple shows coming up, and I really am not in a rush to sell these. If you don't know, I have plenty of space to hold my inventory, so I'm not really in rush to sell certain pops and along those lines. I don't mind giving out deals once in a while, but overall, I said, hey, this is where I'm going to be at bottom line with yours. So I told them the time and the different times I can meet up and what location. They come back and say, hey, I can find these a little cheaper online. This is the value. I would rather offer you this price. This is another, what was it? $15 off. And I go, hey, I'm like, pretty much in my last statement, I said that was my final price. So I said, hey, no, thank you. And I did add this because I usually add this to people who come back and say, hey, I can find it cheaper online. If you can find it cheaper online, you should go buy it instead of wasting people's time. I usually put that statement. I maybe can be better at it instead of being so blunt. That's something you're going to learn about me. I'm very straightforward and blunt sometimes. And it can come off as like, sometimes people will say unprofessional, rude along those lines. He replies back and says, hey, you need to be careful because you don't know, like, you shouldn't be talking to people's children like that. So my thing is, why are you so I replied back. I go, well, maybe you shouldn't have your children using your Facebook to be talking to individuals online. First of all, that's a safety issue, especially if they're underage. Number two is like, you shouldn't be surprised if people are going to be harsh and strong verbally on a social media post, especially Facebook Market. And you're lucky I wasn't even saying anything rude or disrespecting. I'm just giving a lesson and saying, hey, if you think you can find some prices cheaper online, you definitely should look for it, versus trying to engage and say, hey, well, this is my starting point price. That's all I said. And then the person came back, well, like, try to justify why his child was using his Facebook. And I came back, hey, I just want to say, hey, get a life. That's pretty much me. Like, right? I'm not here to argue. These are Funko Pops. They're toys. I don't need to be arguing about that stuff over there. And at the same time, when he said that, like, I need to be careful, I did reply back to him and said, are you threatening me on top before, like, saying, hey, get a life, and along those lines. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to be sick. People like, oh, we need to meet up and stuff. These are Funko Pops. These are toys. These are action figures. These are collectibles. If you need to get, what I don't know, what would you say, a thrill out of it, a surge, you need to feel all strong and stuff, so be it. That's not on me to worry about you figuring out your life story and stuff. I know, I understand that I could have definitely handled that better. But the reason I say this, and a lot of times, and this is why I feel bad for resellers along those lines, is about this online price. We all, as resellers, can sell at a different price. We can get discounts how we like it. It really depends on you as a seller. But when people come up there and say, well, use that as a gauging tool, which is respectably and understandable, is I reply back, and that's why I try to teach people. If you can find a price at cheaper online, then you should definitely reach out to them, because you also risk, when you're buying online, not knowing actually how the condition of the pop is or item overall. The reason being is you can't expect it and look at it, and people would come back and retort, well, I can always return it. Yes, that takes up more time. So you would wait for the item to ship. Most likely you're going to pay shipping. Other people's have to say, well, that person offers free shipping. Good on you. That item could be damaged or not to your liking. So even though they have a free return policy, it's still taking up your time. You're still going to have to pack it back up and return it, right? And then you have to wait for your money to get back. Instead of meeting these individuals in front of you in physical, then you can see on like a Facebook Market or OfferUp, it's like you can see that and you can go on there and say, hey, I want to buy this item. I don't want to buy this item. And that turnaround on your time and wasting your time is much shorter. You can inspect it and see it there. But if you can find it online, buy it. That's all I want to tell people. I tell people, don't waste my time. My time is valuable. I'm not going to waste your time. Simple as that. And then you're going to come at me and then get upset. You're going to put a low rating. Dude, I don't know what else you want me to tell you, but if you want to feel good about yourself because of all that, good for you. I need to learn from those lessons. Is I could have just cut it off, as I said, no thank you for the price I didn't like. But of course, that person clapped back and said all this extra stuff because I added some extra stuff too. But again, my thing is mine was coming from a learning lesson. Don't be bothering people with your pricing and along those lines. As resellers out there, how will you handle the situation? I would have loved to know. Comment below. But I learned I need to be a little more patient and just really just roll with the punches and stuff. Sometimes I just react. I clap back right away. And I know sometimes that could be not as well, right? It took me a while. He put that rating on low. I had to go reach out to Facebook to see if I potentially can get rid of that low rating. But this affects, like, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to bump into these individuals in the future. They're going to remember maybe your name, your brand name and stuff like that. So you got to remember. But at the same time, as a brand or store, you don't have to put up with these individuals as well. You know, your right customers will know about you. This is one offshoot. If you look at my ratings, he is the only one who gave me a low rating on there compared to all these other sales I have done. But as always, as a person who believes in God and all that, I need to learn when to turn my cheek and everything on there. But sometimes you gotta just educate people as well. As always, take care and God bless. Go Thorough Prince. Let's go.